Tonight on The Review Show, murder in Dorset. Detectives Tennant and Coleman get on the case in ITV's new drama, Broadchurch.
No statements now.
Elizabeth II, the sequel. Majestic Mirren is back for another crowning performance.
When I walk into a room, heads fail to turn.
Oh, how lovely.
A bitter pill. Is Side Effects director Steven Soderbergh's farewell to Hollywood? Enigmatic author J.M. Coetzee tackles Jesus the early years. Or does he? And inside the meme machine, how the Harlem Shake shook our world. Well, joining me in the studio this evening are novelist and playwright Deborah Levy, writer and comedian David Schneider, and author Edward Docks. And remember, you too can get involved on the Twitter if you want to talk about the debate tonight. The British crime drama seems to be coming of age in a post-Nordic noir world and playing with formats in the process. Last night, BBC One wrapped up Mayday, a five-parter shown on consecutive nights. And over on ITV1, the much-anticipated new series Broadchurch, starring David Tennant and Olivia Colman, started this week. But that will play out over 8 weeks, which is twice the normal length of such dramas. ITV have been having a bit of a golden moment with drama recently, so will this seemingly radical approach to the standard police procedural deliver? Writer Chris Chibnall's murder mystery is set in the fictional seaside town of Broadchurch on Dorset's picturesque coast. The catalyst for the drama is the disappearance of a local boy, 11-year-old Danny Latimer.
Danny, it's Mum. So you're not at school? Can you give me a call straight away, sweetheart? I just want to know where you are. Jack, it's Beth. Danny did his paper round this morning, right? Oh, OK, did he ring?
Beth's worst nightmare becomes a reality when police discover Danny's body lying face down in the sand on a local beach.
Right, calm down, DS Miller.
You don't understand, I know that boy.
Shut it off, be professional.
Shut it
You're
off.
working a case now. Alec Hardy.
I know, you got my job.
Really? You want to do that now?
A flinty David Tennant plays DI Alec Hardy, who's been moved to Broadchurch from the Met following a controversial case. Along with a more emotional DS Ellie Miller, played by Olivia Colman, they must tackle the disturbing murder. But in this small community, it can sometimes be difficult to keep the personal and the professional apart.
DS Miller!
Who's that?
Just keep walking.
Ellie!
Seems to know you.
Auntie Ellie!
I told you, don't do that.
Ollie Stevens, Broadchurch Echo. I was down at the other end. They said you'd be here. Why has the beach been closed?
No statements now.
I heard there was a body. Has it been ID'd? Please.
There will be a statement, Oliver.
In contrast to Broadchurch itself, which is bathed in the warm glow of southwestern sunshine, it becomes apparent that some things around here are a little bit shady. With mysterious, silent characters lurking near the crime scene, some big questions hang in the air. Not least whether ITV's unprecedented run of 8 big-budget episodes will pay off.
Our investigations are continuing, and there'll be a full briefing later this evening.
Well, Broadchurch continues on Monday evenings on ITV1. Ed, there's a real sense that this is a departure for the police procedural. Is it new? Does it work?
Well, the danger with procedurals, I think, is that they feel merely procedural. And we have seen all this before. The Maverick Detective, the body at the start, the impact on the family. So the question really is does the drama take us past merely the feeling of procedure watching it? For me, it did, in large part, for 3 main reasons. The first, I thought it was beautifully shot and really took advantage of that fantastic Jurassic coastline. So that's point 1. I'd say also there was an absolutely superb performance from Olivia Colman. She carried so much of the drama. I actually felt the family's pain much more through her than I did from the family. She also interacted with Tennant very well, and I felt Tennant wasn't very generous in his performance, but she really was. And then the third thing I'd say is I do think that it was, on the whole, it's going to rely a lot on the minor characters because it's over eight weeks. There's lots of great little characters in there, the vicar and the young guy, as we saw. My reservations would be that I thought there were moments of cliche. One of the writing, at some point, the grandmother goes to see the vicar, and she says, "Your challenge is our challenge," which is precisely not what a grieving grandmother would say to a vicar. And I also thought that there were quite a few moments where the family particularly didn't feel as impacted as I would have imagined losing a child in that way would have meant. So a kind of mixed review from me, I think.
Deborah, much is being made of the fact that this is going to take 8 episodes to play out. That's actually 2 months. The pace, as a result, is quite slow. How did you find that? Is that working for you?
Oh, I respect the slow setup. The dialogue could be sharper. The bar has been raised very high for TV drama after Borgen, especially. You know, it's almost become a sexier form to think about writing for than cinema. Who would have thought that? A longer stretch of story, more, more detail for character. However, I think that the story that I'm most interested in is David Tennant's character's backstory. I like the way that Tennant is playing this. He's kind of strained and mental and wound up. However, I think it would have been very interesting to shake the gender stereotypes and to have had Olivia Colman's character played by Tennant. So that it was the woman who was the outsider, obviously arrives with a cloud over her career, obviously explosive. I think that would have been more subversive.
Well, there is, of course, a woman who turns up with a cloud, and that's a journalist. We'll talk more about the portrayal of the media in a moment. David, we've mentioned David Tennant, we've mentioned Olivia Colman. In terms of their dynamic together and their chemistry, how's that working?
Yeah, well, I think I would like to just sit here for a minute and just say Olivia Colman. Olivia Colman.
Yeah. I mean, should we just have a little moment before Olivia Colman?
It's just extraordinary. Every time she's on screen, you're just fixated. I mean, I think what Deborah's suggesting is basically the killing. Really, the gender swap. Yeah. And I'm a big Killing fan. Initially I was quite disappointed that it wasn't in Danish and Olivia Colman wasn't wearing that jumper. But I think we're ready now. You know, you can tell that the British TV commissioners 2 years ago said the killings. It's all about the killing. We want the killing, and now we're ready to do this longer story arc. And I think what it allows actors like Olivia Colman. I thought the actor, Jodie Whittaker, who played the mum, was very good. It allows actors to go for it. It gives them room. It gives the storytelling room. And I really went for it. I felt with David Tennant, I'm so used to relating to David Tennant. He's Mr. Everyman, Mr. Nice Guy. That I think it's interesting. It's going to take me a while to grow into what he's doing. But I definitely will keep watching.
Do you think there's a sense that because of the nature of the structure of it, because it's 8 weeks, because we have to have enough tension and drama to sustain us over what is 2 months, let's face it, eight weeks in a row, that there's a real focus on every single character at this point potentially being guilty?
Well, I think you're right, but I think one of the risks they're running is you rely a huge amount on all the minor stories being interesting as well, because previously crime drama was just all about the front story, who did it. But now it's about the impact on the wider community. And that's fine if you've got great actors and actresses in the wider community. And some of them in this are very, very good. But some of them are less good. And I think the problem's going to be when they've got long periods focused on slightly inferior actors. I mean, Olivia Colman, we talked about, brilliant. I think the priest in the second episode is going to be very good. I think the father looks like he's quite good. I didn't agree with you. I didn't think the mother was great. And I was a bit nervous about the stylised moment where she runs through the traffic. I felt, dudes, what you're doing now. But then it all came back again. So I think it's just going to be a question of whether or not they can keep us interested in those minor characters.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there, but we'll be hanging on the edge of our seat, no doubt, to see what happens on Broadchurch, which continues on Monday. Now,